Today we have none other than Squirt Town Jizzle, Squirt Town Jizzle, Squirt Town Jizzle. And if you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button. But first, let's say rest in peace to Squirt Town Jizzle. Alright, definitely if you have not, hit that subscribe button and thumb up this video as it gets my video out to more people. And the more viewers equals more subscribers to the content, which then fuels more content. So I appreciate everybody that's been rocking out this far with us. And man, if you haven't done so, hit that notification bell, as I'm always in my premieres for the video drops, and you can find me there and ask me questions. And definitely follow my mods there, they got dope content. Definitely shout out to at NC, that's at NC. She's got dope content over on her channel, so definitely go follow her. All right, so we jumping into this paperwork here. This is an original case incident report for a homicide and a first-degree murder. The occurrence date is a September 26, 2011 at 1600 hours. Victim's name is a one Carl Spencer, male, black, age 21 years. All right, injuries, we have extent fatal, CFD aid, first aid given, yes. Pronounced date September 26, 2011, 1705 hours. Alright, we have some gang information listed for Carl Spencer, the victim. Gang name, Gangster Disciples. Alright, we have an event in summary. According to witnesses, a verbal altercation took place between two groups of males. The victim was in one of the groups. The witnesses then heard gunshots and observed the two groups shooting at each other. One witness describes one of the offenders as a male with a black hoodie. Both groups of males ran in unknown directions. The victim ran to redacted South King Drive and collapsed on the sidewalk. He had been shot in the left side of the head, right shoulder, abdomen, and lower torso. EMS number 36 arrived on the scene and transported the victim to Stroger Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 1705 hours by Dr. Nagy. Units on the crime scene observed a large number of expended shell casings from about 411 to 417 East 60th Street. No offenders in custody. Alright, the next document we have is a case supplementary report. It is a lab report. In this date, this document was submitted was January 25th, 2013 at 004100 hours. Victim is listed as one Carl Spencer, male, black, 21 years, sobriety sober, listed criminal organization, Gangster Disciples. Suspects unknown, item used, weapon. Alright, victim's injuries, gunshot wound, weapon used, fatal. Alright, he was transported to Cook County, victim, Carl Spencer. Method code, person shot, CAU code, DNA. Alright, we see if we get down to an investigation here. This is a lab report investigation. We have a victim listed as Spencer Carl, male 1, 21. We have wanted listed, unknown, male, black, no description. Injuries, multiple gunshot wounds to head and torso. Weapon, unknown 45 model, unknown make model 45 caliber and 9mm handguns. And we have weather and lighting, 60 degrees and cloudy / daylight, manner and motive, homicide / possible mutual combatants, gang related. Investigation. This report was generated as part of the ongoing investigation of the homicide of Spencer. Reporting detectives learned that the ISP had generated a laboratory report which indicated the gunshot residue test which had been administered to Spencer's had been tested with negative results. For further information, refer to the ISP laboratory report. This investigation continues. The next document we have is a progress report, case supplementary report, and this document was submitted on October 30th, 2011 at 17:24 hours. The list of victim, and we know the suspects are unknown at this time. So we're scrolling down until we see some new information. This is a progress supplementary investigation. Reporting detectives followed up on 911 phone calls with the following results. Redacted states she had been sitting in her car parked in a vacant lot located at Redacted South Martin Luther King. Dr. Tucker stated that she had the engine running and the radio on and she did not hear the shooting. Tucker further related that she observed Spencer running south on the sidewalk and collapsed. Tucker stated that a vehicle in traffic pulled over and appeared to be helping Spencer. Tucker stated that she never got out of her vehicle. Redacted heard shots called. Police stated that he doesn't want to get involved and refused to speak further with reporting detectives. So this seems to be like canvas reporting. So we're gonna go to the comments. Unable to make contact. Reporting detectives left message with contact information. Denies calling the police. Refused to speak with reporting detectives. So these are the 911 callers that they followed up with. Redacted. Warren stated that he had been driving south on King Drive when he observed male 1 wearing a white t-shirt collapse on the sidewalk. Warren stated that he stopped to offer aid and call 911. Warren stated that other bystanders tried to help. Warren stated that he didn't know any of the involved parties and had nothing further to add. Redacted. Evans stated she was driving on MLK Drive, see Spencer running, then fall. Evans then called 911. Evans stated that she had not seen anyone shooting and had nothing further to add. Rydell stated that he was driving past, hears shots, sees 15 or 16-year-old male 1 running, calls 911. Rydell stated that he didn't wish to get involved and refused any cooperation. Redacted states didn't see anything, refused anything further. Redacted saw a crowd on the sidewalk, calls 911, doesn't know anyone involved. Redacted stated she was at home in her apartment, hears shots, and called 911. Malone had nothing further to add. Unable to make contact, reporting detectives left message with contact information. Next document we have is a case supplementary report, progress violent scene. The date submitted was October 1st, 2011. Alright, we know the victims. See if we can get to an investigation. Okay, we have some evidence inventory, some fired cartridge cases. Seems to be multiple 45 caliber cartridge cases. Inventory, more evidence. Alright, we have an investigation. Person interviewed. And that information is redacted, of course. Investigation. Reporting detectives were assigned to investigate the homicide of Carl Spencer by Sergeant Wright, number 1336 of this command. Reporting detectives learned that Spencer had been removed from the scene by CFD personnel and had taken to Stroger Hospital. Reporting detectives further learned that the scene was located at 417 East 60th Street. Reporting detectives relocated to the scene, observing 60th Street to be an eastbound street with multiple unit apartment buildings on the south and a large parkway on the north, Martin Luther King Drive on the west, and Vernon on the east. Reporting detectives further noted that beyond the parkway was Best Drive, a northeast street leading into Washington Park. Reporting detectives noted that the sidewalk and street from 423 East to 411 East had been cordoned off with yellow crime scene tape. The reporting detectives observed several 45 caliber spent shell casings on the sidewalk as well as several 9mm spent shell casings on the parkway and street in addition to shell casings. Reporting detectives observed 2 fired bullets on the front stoop of 411 East 60th Street. Reporting detectives learned that Spencer had been discovered a short distance from the scene at 6115 South King Drive on the sidewalk and subsequently transported to Stroger Hospital by CFD ambulance number 36. For a complete accounting of the crime scene, refer to the crime scene processing report prepared by BT 5828 ET Scariot, who, after arriving on scene, photographed and recovered everything of evidentiary value. Reporting detectives spoke with Detective Deneen and Detective Madden, who had been assigned as assisting detectives and had arrived on scene prior to the reported detectives. Detective Deneen and Detective Madden related that the preliminary investigation had been assigned to BT 311, who had relocated to Stroger Hospital. Detective Deneen and Detective Madden further related that they had learned from officers that Michelle Gross had witnessed the shooting and related the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted stated she had been walking north on the east side of King Drive from 61st behind a group of 7 to 8 male ones. Redacted stated that members of the group were telling others in the group, "We fitting to get into it," which Redacted took to mean they intended to fight someone. As the group approached 60th Street, they were joined by two additional male ones who had been walking behind Redacted King Drive. Once at 60th Street, the group of male ones entered Washington Park and Redacted walked east on 60th Street toward her residence. Redacted that as she entered her residence, she observed the same group of male ones walking Redacted the park and onto 60th Street. Redacted stated that she was entering her apartment on the Redacted heard several gunshots. Redacted entered her apartment and went to the front window and looked outside. Redacted that she observed two male ones from the group she had been walking behind, standing on the sidewalk in front of her residence, firing handguns towards a group of male ones to the east. Redacted further related that she observed a group of 7 to 8 male ones to the east of her apartment building, two of which were standing on the sidewalk firing guns toward the group in front of the residence. Redacted that the shooting stopped and all the involved parties scattered like bugs. Redacted stated that she observed one of the shooters from the group she had been following fall. Redacted then get up and run west, limping, falling again, then get up and run south out of her view. It should be noted, Redacted subsequently shown a photograph of Spencer, whom she identified as one of the Redacted, as well the subject whom she had seen limping as he fled the scene southbound on King Drive. Redacted that while she doesn't know the male ones from the group she had seen on King Drive, she recognized them as the same male ones who frequently hung out on the block. Redacted that she did not recognize anyone from the second group of male ones that had been shooting with W.E. Redacted, only able to describe the members of the group as being male ones in dark clothing, stating that she hadn't seen their faces. Redacted shown photographs of Spencer's known associates and was unable to identify anyone as having been present at the time of the shooting. A canvass of the area was conducted with detectives relocated to Stroger Hospital, where they learned that Spencer had been pronounced by Dr. Nagy at 17:05 hours. Reporting detectives spoke with the officers assigned to BT 311, who related essentially the same facts as reported in the original GOCR. The officers further arrived at the hospital. The officers further added that Spencer's mother, as well as a large group of Spencer's family and friends, had arrived at the hospital and were informed of Spencer's death. The officer stated that after learning of Spencer's death, the group had left the hospital. The officer stated that they had not obtained any names or contact information from the group. Reporting detectives conducted an examination of Spencer's remains, noting injuries and tattoos listed in the format section of this report. Reporting detectives further noted Spencer's clothing, which is noted in the format section of this report. BT 5828 arrived at Stroger Hospital, administering a gunshot residue kit at 1952 hours. E.T. Scariot then fingerprinted Spencer and photographed Spencer's injuries and tattoos. Reporting detectives relocated to Spencer's last known address, redacted St. Lawrence, where they spoke with Spencer's mother, redacted, and aunt, redacted, who related the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted stated that she had received a phone call from son Robert Rowland, who informed her that Spencer had been shot and taken to Stroger Hospital. Redacted stated that she then relocated to Stroger along with other family members and learned of Spencer's death. Jackson was unable to provide reporting detectives with any information regarding Spencer's activities prior to the shooting, other than that a family friend, redacted, had told her that she had driven Spencer to 61 and King Drive shortly before the shooting. Jackson stated that Spencer had grown up in the area of 60th and King Drive and frequently returned to the area where he had several friends. Redacted stated that Spencer was not a gang member and was in fact had been attending Kentucky State University until recently. Redacted went on to state that several of Spencer's friends had recently been murdered in the same area recently. Redacted stated that Spencer resided with her since his freshman year in high school. Redacted further related that Spencer's friend Mario had told her that his mother, who lived in Redacted of 60th and King Drive, had possibly witnessed the shooting. Redacted was unable to provide any further relevant information at that time, only adding that Redacted was not a gang member and that she didn't know anyone that would shoot at him. It should be noted that Redacted provided reporting detectives with contact information for Redacted and interviews. Redacted Tanisha Reese will be the subject of a future supplemental report. Reporting detectives relocated to Area 2, submitting evidence to the ISP Crime Lab as well as requesting OEC tapes. Reporting detectives learned of 2 homicides in the area of 60th and King, reported under reporting documents number listed. Reporting detectives reviewed said homicide files, neither of which anything of apparent evidentiary value to this investigation. Reporting detectives contacted OEC and obtained phone numbers and times for all phone calls regarding the shooting. Reporting detectives attempted to contact the callers for the purpose of locating additional witnesses. The results of said efforts will be documented in future supplemental reports. This investigation continues. All right, we have a canvas report here. This is a supplemental re-report, and the date it was submitted is September 27th, 2011, 1944 hours. You have the victims there, or victim, excuse me. All right, investigation. Following is a synopsis of the canvass conducted on September 11th, 2011 by Detective Deneen and Detective J. Madden. Basement apartment, no answer. 3rd floor, redacted. 1st floor, redacted. Stated that something building is a 2-flat. It was being used as a single-family home. No one home at time of the incident. Redacted, abandoned house. This investigation continues. Redacted. Alright. Next document we have is a method CAU code document that was submitted on September 27th, 2011. This is a field investigation method CAU code report, and of course the listed criminal organization for one, Spencer Carl is Gangster Disciples. And Spencer Carl is a male black 21. just to give us a refresh on the victim demographics. And we'll scroll down to another case supplementary report that is a lab report. This is a field investigation lab report. The date this was submitted was June 12, 2013 at 09:34 hours. Alright, and we're going to see if we can get to an investigation here. Alright, we have an investigation. It says on September 21st, 2011 at 20:54 hours, an aggravated battery with a handgun incident occurred at the location of 6 Redacted South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, in which 2 people were shot. The incident was recorded under RD number listed. Several fired cartridge casings were recovered and inventoried from this incident. The fired cartridge casings were sent to the Illinois State Police Forensic Science Center and examined utilizing the IBIS database and microscopic comparisons. ISP lab determined that the ballistics evidence recovered from HT 508001 matched ballistic evidence recovered under another HT number, a homicide that occurred on September 26, 2011. ISP lab determined that the same firearm was used in both of these incidents. Both HT 508001 and HT 515262 remain under investigation. Alright, we have another lab report. And this one was submitted on July 25th, 2014 at 12:06. Scroll down till we get to an investigation or we see any new information. Alright, we have an investigation here. This is an IBIS case to case association on September 21st, 2011. Alright, okay, so yeah, so pretty much we can reference the same investigation above here. It pretty much reiterates the same thing, just that the fired cartridge cases are matching matched ballistic evidence recovered under different HT numbers, which is different case numbers. So it says here 45 caliber cartridge casings from RD number listed matched ballistic evidence from a homicide which occurred on February 16th, 2012, recorded under. So they're able to match up a lot of the shell casings to other incidents, including a homicide. Yep, okay. And an aggravated battery, which occurred on November 19th, 2011. And they list the statuses for each of those cases. Alright, the next document we have is a case supplementary report, a progress report document. And the date this was submitted was February 11th, 2019 at 08:50 hours. This is a field investigation progress report. And we're scrolling through this progress report document. It says this is an area central exceptionally cleared / closed report. These are all some of the fired cartridge cases that they were able to link to other cases in some of their inventory, since they had a cell phone. Alright, we have an investigation. On October 31st, 2018, reporting detectives learned in an interview with Detective Matthews that a Redacted had told him that he was a witness to a murder that had occurred in 2011. Detective Matthews spoke with Redacted about the specifics of incident and discovered that Vance was referring to the murder of Carl Spencer. The following is an encapsulation of the interview between Detective Matthews and Vance. Vance stated that he was walking with Lil B, whom he said is Rayson Shaw, Tutu, whom he said is Carlton Archer, and Jaja, whom he thinks is named Jalen Strong. Vance said they were walking in the area of 61st Redacted when they saw CJ, who is a member of the 600 faction of Squirt City, a rival street gang. Redacted said that he knew CJ to have a name of Carl Spencer. Redacted stated that Shaw and Archer were armed, and upon seeing Spencer, they ran in his direction. Redacted said that as they ran towards him, Spencer turned to run, but Shaw and Archer started shooting him. They shot and killed him, and fled on foot from the area. Vance told Redacted that he did not really know Jaja, but he knew that he was killed shortly after this incident. Vance said that he and the people walking with him were all members of the Gangster Disciples Jarl City faction. Vance told Detective Matthews that he would speak with reporting detectives about this matter. Reporting detectives learned that Detective Matthews had also spoken with Daryl Rhymes about this incident. Rhymes had spoken with Cook County investigator Phillips, who in turn had informed Detective Matthews that Rhymes was willing to speak with him. 2018, reporting detectives went to Cook County Jail for the purpose of interviewing Keon Vance and Daryl Rhymes. Vance agreed to speak with reporting detectives about this matter. However, Rhymes stated that he was not willing to speak about this incident any further beyond the information he had given to Phillips and Matthews in his previous interviews. Reporting detectives interviewed Vance in a private interview room. Vance stated that he is currently an inmate at Cook County Jail. He did not request or expect any consideration for his willingness to speak to reporting detectives about this matter. Vance stated that he knew the victim, Carl Spencer, and he knew him to have the nickname of CJ. Vance stated that Spencer was a black gangster disciple, gang member belonging to the 600 faction, which was also known as Squirt Town in Brick City. Vance stated that he had grown up with Spencer and that most of Vance's family were all members of the same street gang as Spencer. Vance identified himself as a member of the Jarl City street gang. Vance said that he was walking in the area of 62nd and Vernon with some of his guys. Vance said everyone with him were all members of Jarl City. Vance said that they had intended to walk towards the store located at 61st and King. Vance said as they reached the area of 61st, they saw Spencer on the 6000 block of Vernon. Vance said that he was with Rayson Shaw, Carlton Spencer, and an individual he only knew as Jaja. Vance said that Jaja was possibly named Jalen Strong, but he was not sure, adding that he believed this person is dead. Vance said that Shaw had a nickname of Lil B and Archer had a nickname of Tutu. Vance said that Shaw and Spencer were armed. Vance added that the area around 61st and King had several rival gangs and that it is not safe to walk in that area as most of it is controlled by 600. Redacted that it appeared Spencer had just exited a building and was standing on the redacted, unaware of the presence a short distance away. Vance said that Shaw and Archer began running towards Spencer. Spencer saw that Shaw and Archer were running at him and turned to run. Vance said that as Spencer started running, that Shaw began shooting at him. Redacted said that Spencer ran northbound on Vernon, followed by Shaw and Archer. Redacted stated that he followed behind, walking quickly on the east sidewalk of Vernon. Redacted knew where Jaja was. Vance stated that as Spencer reached the corner of 60th Street, he appeared to fall. Vance said that Shaw continued to shoot and that Archer was also shooting. Redacted said that as he reached an area close to 60th, he could see that Spencer had fallen and was lying on the sidewalk. Vance said that he saw Archer and Shaw run right up on him, referring to Spencer on the sidewalk. Lil B just shot him, then Tutu shot him. They were almost standing over him. Redacted said that Archer and Shaw ran eastbound on 60th from the scene. Vance stated that he turned and ran back southbound on Vernon. Vance stated that he spoke with Shaw and Archer later that night, and they told him that they were going to leave Chicago for a while. Vance said they feared that people had seen them because it occurred during the day and that people might tell the police. Redacted agreed to view photo arrays. Redacted had prepared two photo arrays. One contained Carlton Archer, and the second array contained Rayson Shaw. Reporting detectives Denahan, uh, reporting detective asked Detective Denahan to act as an independent administrator. See supplementary reports of Detective Denahan. Reporting detective learned from Detective Denahan that Vance had identified Shaw and Archer as the people he saw shoot and kill Carl Spencer. This investigation remains in progress. Report Detective T. Tehan. The next document we have is a progress report, and this one was submitted on February 11th, 2019. All right, we still have the same information here. We have victim, of course, Carl Spencer, gangster disciple, Squirt City faction, identified by his mother. All right, and they have the evidence listed here. See if we can get to an investigation. All right, investigation on December 19th, 2018. Reporting detectives contacted listed witness Redacted. Reporting detective informed Redacted that he was investigating the Spencer case and that he would like to interview her again about this matter and possibly show her a photo array. Redacted agreed to meet with reporting detective on a later date. Reporting detective spoke with Redacted. Redacted is the Redacted Spencer and is the person Spencer had been living with at the time he was killed. Rowland informed reporting director that Robert Redacted other of Spencer and that he was willing to speak with reporting detectives about this matter. Redacted provided reporting detectives with contact information for Redacted. Redacted spoke with Redacted. Reporting detectives spoke with Redacted, informed reporting detectives that she had not seen her son being murdered, but she had always heard that a man named Rayson Shaw was the person that killed him. Reporting detective asked Redacted if she could provide the name of anyone in particular who had told her this information. Redacted told reporting detectives that several times in the years following the death of her son that his friends, her neighbors, and just the word on the street was that Rayson Shaw and killed her son. Jackson added that she had also heard that Shaw had fled the city following the shooting but came back. Redacted said that she was at home the day Spencer was shot. She received a phone call from her son. Redacted stated that Redacted told her that she needed to get to the scene because CJ was shot. Redacted said that she went to the crime scene and identified herself to on-duty CPD personnel. Redacted says she was informed by CPD a short time after arriving that her son, Carl Spencer, was the victim. Reporting detective spoke with Redacted, identified himself as Redacted, agreed to speak with reporting detectives about this matter, and told him that Redacted the day he was shot, but that he had gone to the crime scene after receiving a phone call about the shooting. That he received a phone call shortly after the shooting. He was told by the person that called that CJ had been shot and that he needed to get over to 60th Street. Redacted said that he went to the scene and saw CPD personnel and crime scene tape. Redacted said that he was speaking with citizens gathered near the crime scene or near the scene who informed him that CJ had been shot and killed. Redacted said that he called Redacted, told her to come to the scene. Redacted stated that as the evening went on, he learned from several people that Rayson Shaw was the person that shot and killed Spencer. Rowland stated that he had heard Shaw's name several times as the person responsible and also learned that Shaw had left the city. Redacted stated that in the days and weeks following the city, it was widely known that Shaw had killed his brother, but that nobody was likely to talk to CPD about this. Redacted that he also learned a few years later that the person who had killed his brother, Rayson Shaw, had been shot and killed by a member of the Chicago Police Department. Reporting detectives learned that Carlton Archer was the victim of a homicide. This incident was reported under RD number listed on November 10, 2011. Reporting detectives learned that Rayson Shaw was the offender in an aggravated assault against a Chicago police officer reported under RD number listed where Shaw was shot and killed on March 19th, 2014. This investigation remains in progress. Our next, our next document is a case supplementary report and another progress report, and this was submitted on February 11th, 2019 at 0850 hours. We'll scroll down to get to another investigation. Got some more inventory here. All right. Reporting on December 20th, 2018, we have an investigation here. Reporting detectives met with Redacted at her apartment. Redacted agreed to speak with reporting detectives about this incident. Redacted stated that she lived in the building on 60th Street at the time that Redacted was shot and killed. Redacted stated that this homicide occurred outside of the building where she resided at the time. Redacted stated that she had walked home and entered her building a short time prior to the shooting. Redacted stated that while inside her apartment, she heard several gunshots. Redacted said that she looked outside after a short period of time and saw a male one on the ground and that it appeared he had been shot. Redacted stated that she never saw an argument or anyone being chased as she arrived home and never saw any sort of confrontation prior to the shooting. Redacted stated that she did not see anyone running from the scene and at no time saw anyone, including Redacted, shooting a gun. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she would view 2 photo arrays. Redacted agreed. Reporting detectives had prepared 2 photo arrays prior to this interview, one photo array containing Carlton Archer and the other containing Rayson Shaw. Detective J. Brown agreed to act as an independent administrator. See supplementary report of Detective Brown. Detective Brown informed reporting detectives that Redacted had not made any identification of anyone contained in the photo arrays. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she knew the name of the deceased, and she stated she did not. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she knew who had killed Spencer, and she stated she did not. Reporting detectives asked Gross if she ever heard the names, nicknames, or any rumors about the incident and who might be involved. Gross said that she never heard anything and added that she was not from that area, only lived there a short period of time, and never socialized with people from that area. Reporting detectives spoke with Redacted, informed reporting detectives that she had a child fathered by Spencer and that she had seen him on the day that he was killed. Redacted told reporting detectives that she and Spencer were cordial at the time of his death as they shared a child, but they were no longer a couple. Reese told reporting detectives that she was visiting Spencer on September 26, 2011, the day he was killed, and that as she prepared to leave, he asked her to drive him to the area of 61st and King Drive. Reese stated that she recalled a friend of Spencer's had been killed sometime prior to that, and a memorial was going to be taking place in that area. Redacted said that she drove Spencer to 61st and King and dropped him off. She drove away after he exited her car and the light had turned green. Redacted stated that when she dropped Spencer off, he was alone and she did not see anyone near him prior to her driving away. Redacted stated that she went home and learned later that night that Spencer had been shot and killed. Redacted stated she was not aware of any suspects. This investigation remains in progress. We have another progress report here. This is a field investigation progress report. It was submitted as February 20th, 2019, 19:07 hours. And we're just scrolling here to get to some new information or potentially an investigation. Alright, and we have an investigation here. On December 20th, 2018, reporting detectives spoke with Redacted is referenced in the original case report as Mario. The case report stated that Mario had told family members that perhaps his mother had seen the murder take place. The report also referenced that Redacted was best friends with Spencer. Alright, we have some suspects here. Of course, Lil B. Got Tutu, Carlton Archer, male black, 25. Black hair, short hairstyle, brown eyes, medium complexion. listed criminal organization, gangster disciples. Alright, we're going to scroll till we get to an investigation. We have more offenders of listed Lil B and another of Tutu. Down to an investigation. Alright, we have one here. On September 26, 2011, Carl Spencer, aka CJ, was shot and killed at redacted East 60th Street. The initial investigation was conducted by Area South Detective Division Ford and Meister. They responded to the scene of the shooting at redacted East 60th Street and were informed by on-scene police officers that the victim, Carl Spencer, was discovered a short distance away at 6115 South King Drive. Spencer was transported to Stroger Hospital by CFD ambulance number 36. Reporting detectives noticed that 60th Street to be an eastbound street with multiple unit apartment buildings on the south and a large parkway on the north, Martin Luther King Drive on the west, and Vernon on the east. Reporting detectives further noted that beyond the parkway was Best Drive, a northeast street leading into Washington Park. Excuse me. Reporting detectives noted that the sidewalk and street from 423 East to 411 East have been cordoned off with yellow crime scene tape. Reporting detectives also observed several .45 caliber spent shell casings on the sidewalk, as well as several 9mm spent shell casings on the parkway and street. In addition to the shell casings, reporting detectives observed 2 fired bullets on the front stoop of 411 East 60th Street. For a complete account of the crime scene, refer to the crime scene processing report prepared by E.T. Scariot. E.T. Scariot relocated to Stroger Hospital. At Stroger Hospital, E.T. Scariot administered a gunshot residue kit to the victim, Carl Spencer. Reporting detectives later received a laboratory report from the Illinois State Police Forensic Center stating that the gunshot residue results were negative. Reporting detectives learned from officers on the scene that Michelle Gross had witnessed the shooting. Reporting detectives interviewed Redacted, who related the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted stated that she had been walking north of the east side of King Drive from 61st Street behind a group of 7 or 8 male blacks. Redacted stated that members of the group were telling others in the group, "We finna get it on," which Redacted took to mean they intended to fight someone. As the group approached 60th Street, they were joined by 2 additional male blacks who were walking in front of Redacted on King Drive. Once at 60th Street, the group entered Washington Park, and Redacted walked east on 60th Street toward her residence. Redacted stated that as she entered her residence, she observed the same group of males walking southbound out of the park onto 60th Street. Excuse me. Redacted stated that as she was entering her apartment, she heard several gunshots. Redacted entered her apartment and went to her front window. Redacted stated that she observed 2 male blacks from the group that was walking in front of her earlier, standing on the sidewalk in front of her residence, firing handguns towards a group of male blacks who were to the east. Redacted further related that she observed a group of 7 or 8 male blacks to the east of her apartment building. Redacted stated that 2 of these male blacks were on the sidewalk firing handguns toward the group in front of her residence. Redacted stated that after the shooting had stopped, all of the involved parties scattered like bugs. Redacted stated that she observed one of the shooters from the group, excuse me, that she had been following fall in front of 411 East 60th Street, then get up and run west. Redacted stated that this person was Redacted fell again before getting up and running south out of her view. It should be noted that Redacted was subsequently shown a photograph of Carl Spencer, who she identified as one of the shooters, and the person who she saw limping as he fled the scene southbound on King Drive. Redacted added that while she does not know the males from the group she saw on King Drive, she recognized them as the same males who frequently hang out on the block. Redacted stated that she did not recognize anyone from the second group of males that had been shooting westbound. Redacted only able to describe the members of the group as being male blacks in dark clothing. Redacted stated that she did not see their faces. Redacted at photographs of Spencer's known associates and was unable to identify anyone as having been present at the time of the shooting. A canvass of the area was conducted by reporting detectives after the shooting and is subject of an additional supplemental report. Reporting detectives also relocated to Stroger Hospital where they learned that Spencer had been pronounced by Dr. Nagy at 17:05 hours. Reporting detectives spoke with officers assigned to B311 who related essentially the same facts as reported in the original GOCR. Canvass of the area was conducted by reporting detectives after the shooting and is the subject of an additional supplemental report. Reporting detectives relocated to Stroger Hospital where they learned that Spencer had been pronounced by Dr. Nagy at 17:05 hours. Alright, which we pretty much remember that from the last report. Alright, we'll pick up here. Reporting detectives relocated to Spencer's last known address of Redacted, where they spoke with Redacted, related the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted related that she had received a phone call from her other son, Redacted, who informed her that Spencer had been shot and taken to the Stroger Hospital. Jackson stated that she then relocated to Stroger Hospital along with the other family members and learned of Spencer's death. Redacted is unable to provide reporting detectives with any information regarding Spencer's activities prior to the shooting, only that a family friend named Redacted, Reese, had driven Spencer to the area of 61st and King shortly before the shooting. Redacted stated that Spencer grew up in the area of 60th and King Drive and frequently returned to the area. Redacted stated that Spencer was not a gang member and had been attending Kentucky State University until recently. Redacted stated that several of Spencer's friends were recently murdered in this same area. Excuse me. Reporting detectives also interviewed Redacted, who also related the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted stated that Spencer resided with her his freshman year in high school. Redacted further related that Spencer's friend Mario had told Redacted that his mother, who lived in the area of 60th and King Drive, had possibly witnessed the shooting. Redacted was unable to provide any further relevant information at this time, only adding that Spencer was not a gang member, that she did not know why anyone would shoot him. In 2018, Area Central Cold Case investigation begins. You have 2 photo arrays and advisory form signed by one Kenyon Vance on November 13, 2018. 2 photo arrays and advisory form signed by Michelle Gross on December 20th, 2018. Related RD numbers. On October 31st, 2018, reporting detective was informed by Detective Matthews that an inmate at the Cook County Jail, Keon Vance, told him that he was an eyewitness to a murder that had occurred on 2011. Detective Matthews spoke with Vance about the specifics of the homicide and discovered that Vance was talking about the murder of Carl Spencer, which occurred on September 26, 2011 at 417 East 60th Street and recorded under RD number listed. Keon Vance related the following to Detective Matthews in essence and not verbatim. Keon Vance stated that on the day Carl Spencer was murdered, he was walking with Lil B, whom Vance stated is Rayson Shaw, and Tutu, whom Vance stated is Carlton Archer. Vance stated that also walking with the group was a guy named Jaja, who Vance thinks might be Jalen Strong. Vance stated that the group was walking in the area of 61st and King Drive when they saw a guy named CJ, who was a member of the 600 faction of Squirt City, a rival street gang. Vance stated that he knew CJ to be Carl Spencer. Vance stated that Rayson Shaw and Carlton Archer were both armed with handguns, and upon seeing Spencer, they ran in his direction. Vance stated that as Archer and Shaw ran towards Spencer, Spencer turned and attempted to run away. Vance stated that Shaw and Archer started shooting at Spencer, who was struck by the gunfire and fell to the ground. Vance stated that Shaw and Archer fled the area on foot after shooting Spencer. Vance told Matthews that he did not really know the other guy that was in the group named Jaja, but he knew that Jaja was killed shortly after this incident. Vance stated that he and the people walking with him were all members of the Gangster Disciples Jarrow City faction. Vance told Detective Matthews that he would speak with reporting detectives about this matter. On November 5, 2018, reporting detectives learned that Detective Matthews had also spoken with Daryl Rhymes about the murder of Carl Spencer. Rhymes was an inmate at the Cook County Jail on unrelated charges. Rhymes had previously spoken to Cook County investigator Phillips, who in turn had informed Detective Matthews that Rhymes was willing to speak to him about the murder of Spencer. Rhymes related the following to Detective Matthews in essence and not verbatim. Daryl Rhymes stated he is a member of the Jarrow City Street Gang and a faction of the Gangster Disciples. Rhymes stated that he met with Rayson Shaw and Carlton Archer on the evening that Carl Spencer was murdered. Rhymes stated that he knows Rayson Shaw by the nickname of Lil B and Carlton Archer by the nickname of Tutu. Rhymes stated that both Archer and Shaw told him that they had shot and killed CJ Spencer earlier in that day and that they were going to leave town. On November 13, 2018, reporting detectives went to Cook County Jail to interview Keon Vance and Daryl Rhymes in furtherance of this homicide investigation. Vance agreed to speak with reporting detectives about this matter. However, Rhymes stated that he was not willing to speak about this incident any further beyond the information he had previously given to Investigator Phillips and Detective Matthews in the previous interviews. Reporting detectives interviewed Redacted in a private room. Redacted related the following to reporting detectives in essence and not verbatim. Redacted stated that he is currently an inmate at Cook County Jail and he did not request or expect any consideration for willingness to speak to reporting detectives about the homicide of Carl Spencer. Redacted stated that he knew the victim, Carl Spencer, who also went by the nickname CJ. Redacted stated that Spencer was a Black Disciple Street Gang member belonging to the 600 faction, also known as Squirt Town and Brick City. Vance stated that he grew up with Spencer and that most of Vance's family members were members of the same street gang as Spencer. Vance identified himself as a member of the Jarrow City Street Gang. Redacted stated that on the day Spencer was murdered, Redacted was walking in the area of 62nd and Vernon with some of his guys. Redacted stated that everyone with him were members of the Jarrow City Street Gang. Redacted stated that his group was walking toward the store located on 61st and King Drive. Redacted stated that as his group reached the area of 61st Street, they saw Carl Spencer CJ on the 6000 block of Vernon. Redacted stated that he was walking with Rayson Shaw, Lil B, Carlton Archer, Tutu, and an individual he only knew as Jaja. Vance stated that Jaja's name might be Jalen Strong, but he was not sure. Vance stated that he thought that Jaja Strong was possibly dead. Vance stated that Shaw goes by the nickname Lil B and that Archer goes by a nickname of Tutu. Redacted stated that on the day of the murder, both Shaw and Archer were carrying handguns. Redacted added that the area of 61st and King Drive has several rival gangs and that it is not safe to walk around that area because most of the area is controlled by 600 faction. Redacted stated that it appeared that Carl Spencer had just exited a building and was standing on the sidewalk unaware of Vance's group's presence a short distance away. Vance stated that Shaw and Archer began running towards Spencer. Spencer saw that Shaw and Archer were running at him and turned to run away. Vance stated that as Spencer started running away, Shaw and Archer began shooting at Spencer. Vance stated that Spencer ran northbound on Vernon, followed by Shaw and Archer. Vance stated that he followed behind Shaw and Archer, walking quickly on the east sidewalk of Vernon. Vance stated that he did not know where Jaja went to after the shooting started. Vance stated that as Spencer reached the corner of 60th Street, he appeared to fall to the ground. Vance stated that Shaw and Archer continued to shoot at Spencer. Vance stated that as he reached this area of 60th Street, he could see Spencer had fallen down and was lying on the sidewalk. Vance stated that he saw Archer and Shaw run right up on him, referring to Spencer on the sidewalk, and both continued to shoot Spencer while he was lying on the ground. Vance stated, Lil B just shot him. Then Tutu, they were almost standing right over him. Vance stated that Archer and Shaw ran eastbound on 60th Street. After the shooting, Vance stated that he turned and ran back southbound on Vernon Street after the shooting. Vance stated that he spoke with Shaw and Archer later that night after the shooting, and they told Vance that they were going to leave Chicago for a while. Vance stated that Shaw and Archer feared that people had seen them shoot Spencer because it occurred during daylight and that people might tell the police. Vance agreed to view photo arrays. Reporting detectives had prepared 2 photo arrays. One array contained Carlton Archer, and the second array contained Rayson Shaw. Reporting detectives asked Detective Deanahan to act as an independent administrator. Detective Deanahan informed reporting detective that Vance has positively identified Shaw and Archer in the photo arrays as the people he saw shoot and kill Carl Spencer on September 26, 2011. On December 19, 2018, reporting detective contacted listed witness redacted. Reporting detectives informed Gross that reporting detective was investigating the Carl Spencer homicide and that reporting detectives would like to interview her again about this matter and possibly show her a photo array. Redacted agreed to meet with reporting detectives on a later date. On December 19, 2018, reporting detectives spoke with Redacted is the honor victim Carl Spencer and is the person Spencer was living with at the time he was murdered. Rowland informed reporting detectives that Redacted Spencer and that he was willing to speak with reporting detectives about the incident. Redacted provided reporting detectives with the contact information for Robert Rowland. On December 19, 2018, reporting detectives spoke with Redacted. Redacted related the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted informed reporting detectives that she was not a witness to her son's murder, but that she had always heard that a man named Rayson Shaw was the person that killed her son. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she could provide the name of anyone in particular who had told her this information, and Redacted stated she could not. Redacted told reporting detectives that several times in the years following the death of her son that Carl Spencer's friends, her neighbors, and word on the street was that Rayson Shaw was the person who killed her son. Jackson added that she had also heard that Shaw had fled the city following the shooting but later returned. Redacted stated to reporting detectives that she was at home the day her son was murdered. Redacted stated that she found out about the shooting when her son Robert Rowland called her. Redacted stated that Rowland told her that she needed to get to the crime scene because CJ was shot. Redacted said she went to the crime scene and identified herself to on duty CPD personnel. Redacted stated that she learned at the crime scene that her son Carl Spencer was the victim. Redacted could add nothing further, and reporting detectives terminated the interview at this time. Reporting detectives spoke with Redacted, identified himself as the brother of the victim, Carl Spencer. Redacted agreed to speak with reporting detectives about this matter and told reporting detectives he was not with Spencer at the time of the homicide, but that he went to the crime scene after receiving a phone call about the shooting. Redacted related the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted stated, that he received a phone call shortly after the shooting informing him that CJ had been shot. Redacted stated that he went to the crime scene and saw CPD personnel and crime scene tape. Redacted stated that he spoke with citizens gathered near the crime scene who informed him that CJ had been shot and killed. Redacted stated that he then called Redacted and told her to come to the scene. Learned later in this evening from several different people that Rayson Shaw was the person that shot and killed Spencer. Redacted stated that he had heard Rayson Shaw's name multiple times as the person responsible for killing his brother, and that Shaw had left the city. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if he could provide reporting detectives with any specific names or people who were identifying Shaw as the shooter, and Redacted stated that he could not. Redacted stated that in the days and weeks following the murder, it was widely known that Rayson Shaw was the person who killed his brother, but that nobody was going to talk to the police about what happened. Redacted stated that he also learned a few years after his brother's murder that Rayson Shaw was shot and killed by a member of the CPD. Redacted could add nothing further, and the reporting detectives terminated the interview with Redacted at this time. In furtherance of this investigation, reporting detectives learned that Rayson Shaw was the offender in an aggravated assault against a Chicago police officer reported under RD number listed, where Shaw was shot and killed on March 29, 2014. Further investigation also revealed that Carlton Archer was a victim of a homicide that occurred on November 10, 2011. On December 20th, 2018, reporting detectives met with Redacted at her apartment. Gross agreed to speak with reporting detectives about this incident. Gross related the following in essence, but not verbatim. Gross stated that she lived in a building on 60th Street at the time that Spencer was shot and killed. Gross stated that this homicide occurred outside of the building where she resided at the time. Gross stated that she had just walked home and entered her building a short time prior to the shooting. Gross stated that while inside her apartment, she heard several gunshots. Gross stated that she looked out her window after a short period of time and saw a male black on the ground who appeared to have been shot. Gross stated that she never saw an argument or anyone being chased as she arrived home and never saw any sort of confrontation prior to the shooting. Gross stated that she did not see anyone running from the scene at no time saw anyone, including Spencer shooting a handgun. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she would be willing to view photo arrays. Gross stated that she would. Reporting detectives prepared 2 photo arrays prior to this interview. One photo array contained Carlton Archer and the other contained Rayson Shaw. Detective Brown agreed to act as an independent administrator. See supplementary reports of Detective Brown. Detective Brown informed reporting detectives that Redacted did not make any identification of anyone contained in the photo arrays. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she knew the name of the deceased, and she stated she did not. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she knew who had killed Spencer, and she stated she did not. Reporting detectives asked Redacted if she had even heard of the names or nicknames or any rumors about this incident or who it may have been involved. Redacted stated that she never heard anything about who may have been involved and added that she is not from that area, only lived there for a short time, and never socialized with people from that area. Reporting detectives spoke with Redacted, related the following in essence and not verbatim. Reese informed reporting detectives that she has a child fathered by Spencer and that she saw Spencer on the day that he was murdered. Redacted told reporting detectives that she and Spencer were cordial at the time of his death because they share a child, but they were no longer together as a couple. Redacted told reporting detectives that she was visiting Spencer on September 26, 2011, and that she prepared to leave. Spencer asked her to drive him to the area of 61st and King Drive. Redacted stated that she called a friend of Spencer's. She recalled a friend of Spencer's had been killed sometime prior to that day, and that a memorial service was going to take place in the area. Redacted stated that she drove Spencer to 61st and King Drive and dropped him off at the light. Redacted then drove away from the area. Redacted stated that when she dropped Spencer off, he was alone and she did not see anyone talking to him prior to her driving away. Reese stated that she went home and learned later that night that Spencer was murdered. Reese stated that she was not aware of any possible suspects or enemies that Spencer may have had. On December 20th, 2018, reporting detectives spoke with Redacted, who was listed in the original general offense case report. Redacted related the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted stated that he was the best friend of Carl Spencer at the time of his death. Redacted stated that he was not with Spencer when he was shot, only that he learned later on that evening that Spencer had been murdered. Redacted stated that his mother was not a witness to the crime, and as he had previously stated. Redacted stated to reported detectives that he had told Spencer's family that perhaps his mother had seen the incident because she lived nearby. The original general offense case report indicated that Redacted stated that his mother might have seen the murder. Redacted stated that he had always heard that Rayson Shaw was responsible for the shooting of Spencer, but that neither he nor his mother were witnesses. Redacted stated that he did not have any further information about the murder of Carl Spencer, and reporting detectives terminated the interview with Redacted at this time. In conclusion, it is the contention of reporting detectives that this investigation has proven to the satisfaction of the Chicago Police Department that on September 26, 2011, Carl Spencer was shot and killed by Rayson Shaw and Carlton Archer at 417 East 60th Street. Reporting detectives learned during the course of this interview that Rayson Shaw and Carlton Archer were both carrying handguns and approached Carl Spencer on foot and shot Spencer multiple times as Spencer attempted to run away, causing Spencer's death. The shooting appeared to be gang-related. Shaw and Archer were members of the Gangster Disciple Street gang, Gajaro City, and Spencer was a member of the Black Disciple Street gang 600 faction. An eyewitness to the murder, Keon Vance, came forward with his account of the shooting of Carl Spencer in October of 2018. Reporting detectives interviewed Vance on multiple occasions, and reporting detectives found Vance to have credible and specific information about the murder that confirmed his credibility. Vance agreed to view multiple photo arrays and positively identified Rayson Shaw and Carlton Archer as the two individuals he saw shoot and kill Carl Spencer. In November of 2018, a third-party witness, Darrell Rhymes, came forward to Cook County investigators Phillips and CPD Detective Matthews on two separate occasions. Rhymes related in these interviews that on the evening that Carl Spencer was murdered, Rhymes was with Rayson Shaw and Carlton Archer, fellow Jaro City GD gang members, who both bragged about shooting and killing Spencer earlier in the day. Shaw and Archer told Rhymes that they were going to leave town to avoid arrest by police. In December of 2018, reporting detectives spoke with Redacted. All three of these individuals stated that they had heard from multiple people that Rayson Shaw shot and killed Carl Spencer. This investigation would further reveal that offenders in this homicide, Rayson Shaw and Carlton Archer, are both now deceased. Excuse me. Rayson Shaw was shot and killed by Chicago police officers on March 29, 2014. Carlton Archer was the victim of a homicide on November 10, 2011, open in progress. Based on the above stated facts, reporting detectives request that this case be classified as exceptionally clear, closed, other, due to death of the offenders. Report of Detective Daniel Keneally, Detective Tehan, Area Central Cold Case. And we have up is a morgue report from the case supplementary report, and this was submitted on excuse me. This was submitted on September 30th, 2011, 07:22 hours. This is a field investigation morgue report. Victims: 1, Carl Spencer. All right. And we scroll down until we get to an investigation within the morgue report. And we have one. On September 27, 2011, Dr. Moser performed an autopsy on the remains of Carl Spencer and determined the cause and manner of death to be multiple gunshot wounds / homicide. External examination. Gunshot wound number 1, lodge, mid right back. Number 2, lodge, mid groin. Number 3, enter upper right chest, upper right arm. Number 4, enter lower right abdomen, exit mid left chest, graze to upper left forehead. Internal examination. 2 medium caliber copper jacketed bullets and 1 lead fragment recovered. And here we have a autopsy report for a 1 victim, Carl Spencer. We have some outlining of where the bullets impacted. All right, we have some clear documents that are just inventory documents. You can feel free to go back over any inventories. What I'll do is just slide through this so we can get to some type of investigation of some sort. For the cause of the video. Alright, just gonna push these. Our inventory. We have some lab reports. Seems 1 gunshot residue kit administered to Carl Spencer. All samples in Exhibit 1 were examined by scanning electron microscopy. And for the presence, let's just find the conclusions. Test results of Exhibit 1 indicate that Carl Spencer may not have discharged a firearm with either hand. If Carl Spencer did discharge a firearm, then the particles were removed by activity were not deposited or were not detected by the procedure. Alright. Have another lab report. Okay. Some DNA in the cell phone. They requested they submitted for some prints. Some more evidence. Alright, we have a criminal history report for a one Carl Spencer. Male, black, 6'2", 190 pounds, brown eyes, black hair, dread hairstyle, complexion dark. We'll scroll through his criminal history. Alright, we're down at an area central photo array report. And we have one person's viewing the photo array, a Keon Vance, male 1, redacted. Persons participating in the photo array number 1, 6-pack. And it lists some individuals here. Photo number 2 array is 6-pack. Lists some individuals here. Persons identified in photo array number 1, Carlton Archer. Photo array number 2, Rayson Shaw. Person identifying photo spread, inventorying photo spread, Detective Denahan. Alright. Investigation. Reporting actually we have some evidence here. One advisory form signed by Keon Vance dated November 13, 2018. One photo array with Carlton Archer identified, signed by Keon Vance. One photo array with Rayson Shaw identified, signed by Keon Vance. 2 demographics pages corresponding to the 2 photo arrays. Investigation. Reporting detectives was assigned as the blind administrator to conduct a photo array with a witness, Keon Vance. Reporting detectives met with Keon Vance. Vance read the photo lineup advisory form. Vance declined to have the photo array audio or videotaped. Vance signed the appropriate lines on the advisory form. Reporting detective presented Vance with the photo array number 1. After viewing the photo array in a 6-pack format, Vance positively identified photo number 1, Carlton Archer, as one of the shooters. The photo array was subsequently inventoried. Reporting detectives presented Vance with the photo array number 2. After viewing the photo array in a 6-pack format, Vance positively identified photo number 2, Rayson Shaw, as one of the shooters. The photo array was subsequently inventoried. The homicide remains in progress. We have another progress lineup document. This is a field investigation progress lineup report, and this was submitted on February 1st, 2019, 0904 hours. All right. And this is another photo array. Persons viewing the photo array is redacted. Persons in the photo array, excuse me, somewhat redacted. Alright, we have evidence, one advisory form signed by Michelle Gross, dated December 20th, 2018. Alright, we'll get to the investigation. Reporting detectives was assigned as a blind administrator to conduct photo arrays with a witness, redacted. Reporting detectives presented redacted with a photo array number 1. After viewing the photo array in a 6-pack format, redacted made no identification. The photo array was subsequently inventoried. Reporting detective presented redacted with the photo array number 2. After viewing the photo array in a 6-pack format, redaction made no identification. The photo array was subsequently inventoried. The homicide investigation remains in progress. Alright, and we have some fully redacted documents here. Alright. Scrolling down till we get to some more case documents that are not. Okay. It seems we have some write-ups, some actual case write-ups from the officers, progress report documents. Here try to make out the best I can because sometimes the handwriting is not legible. All right, we have 911 call follow-ups written on this document. Seems to be a female 128 sitting in vacant lot. Says victim running southbound, falls, collapse. Vehicle pulled over trying to help. Was in car with music up. Didn't see a gun. Never got out of car. Redacted. Stays in area. Doesn't want to get involved. Redacted left a message. We have a big redaction block here. Getting down to the next one. Follow up on, I guess, anonymous calls. We have a redaction block. States her name is Twin. Redacted. We have a male 128. Pulled up, sees victim with two girls, calls 911, doesn't know anyone involved. Excuse me. Redacted. She hears shots, looks out window, calls 911. And yeah, I guess these are hours. Male shot in the head. U.S. cell. Okay, these are cell numbers, I imagine. 1614, male shot, cricket. 1615, someone got shot on the street, redacted. 1612, in area, 10 shots fired, saw group of boys running toward prairie, camera at above location, showing group of kids, one on ground not moving, redacted. All right, and we have 1611, person shot, group of kids just shot someone, female caller. 1612, 20 dressed in black on 61st and King. All right, we got group of kids, teens. I mean, the word teens is crossed out. We have kids at 1611, person shot, just shot someone, redacted, was a female caller. We have a caller on 1612, 61st and King. There's a report of 20 dressed in black. 1613, recall of a person shot from an AT&T device. 1613, male shot from a T-Mobile device. And this is more of that identifying carriers and seemingly locations for the times of those calls to 911. We have on the next document, went to school at KY State / waiting for did. Friend Davon Eric Varner murdered September 13th. Friend of family Kiki, redacted, drop Vic off. All right, and we have on the next document just some follow-up calls, it seems. Cell phone in something vacant lot, approximately that address, 6 something King Drive. All right. We have some canvassing of the crime scene, lists some of the gunshot wounds to the individual that they saw at the time and the clothes that he was wearing. Tattoos, seems to be family first, chest. Not sure if that's JTM. I'm not sure what that is there. Love mom on the mid arm. Trust no one on left arm. All right, we have some on scene reports. Witness, one gross at 60th Street. Something saw victim maybe with gun. All right, and we have a big redaction. Walking northbound on King Drive from 61st, walking behind victim in group of something male 7 or 8 male ones. Can hear someone from the group saying, we finna to get into it. Understand this to mean they're going to fight. Walking on east side of King before group reaches 60th Street. All right, we have witness, redacted, join group, both Male 1 run past witness and join the group. Once redacted reaches 60th Street, victim and group are in dark north side of 60th Street, appear to be crossing back to south side of the street. Witness, fearing danger, is leaving, goes inside her residence, redacted, East 60th Street. Before witness enters her apartment, first floor, she starts to hear gunfire. Once inside her apartment, witness looks out the front window and sees victim and at least one other male 1 from his group firing handgun eastbound at a different group of 7 or 8 male 1s. At least 2 male 1s from this group is also firing handguns at victim and his group shooting westbound. Then see second group of male 1 prior to entering her apartment. After the shooting, everyone scattered like bugs. Victim group runs westbound, second group runs eastbound. And we have a next document is witness continued. Knows victim is shot, can see him limping, sees victim collapse in front of redacted East 60th Street, then get up and run westbound to southeast corner of 60th and King Drive and collapse again. Victim then gets up and runs southbound out of witness's view, didn't see gun in victim's possession where he collapses, but he definitely saw him shooting black gun prior, shooting gun holding it slanted when firing. Didn't see anyone come to victim's aid while he was in her view. Has seen victim and some of his associates before hanging out on 60th Street, doesn't know of their names, nicknames. Describe victim as male 1, dreads, green jacket, soggy blue jeans, yellow something, caramel colored skin, armed with black gun. Witness continued. Describe one of the male 1s with victim as being real dark, heavy like reporting detective, wearing brown jacket and black pants. Wouldn't be able to recognize anyone from second group, couldn't see their faces. Here's a total of 10 to 16 shots. Had heard from, I'm not sure, a man in the neighborhood that all the recent shooting are due to a drug war involving the area of 60th Street and King. Heard this info. Right, on the next document we have canvas, redacted East 60th Street, some B-side apartment, female 138. Here's 10 or 12 shots, runs to rear of apartment, NFI, second floor, no answer. Third district, per police officer black, failed witness incident, refer to 33rd district. Scrolling past that, we have some more on scene documentation, confrontation. We have some handwritten notes here on this progress report. Confrontation between two groups around block and vacant lot / victim collapsed. Alright, no one at home for that canvas, not at home for that canvas. Oh, it seems we have a handwritten scene. Switch this way. When the detectives usually outline the scene as they see it, just as a top view. Sometimes you get these, sometimes you don't, but we can kind of see what's going on here. Let's zoom in. 1 to 17 shell casings, indentation in grass. This equals a gunshot impact. Bullet fragments, clothing. 18 to 21 bullet fragments. Okay, so 1 to 17. So 1 to all these, I guess, to 17 all over here are shell casings. 18 to 21 are bullet fragments. So this back here. Then there's clothing and a cell phone. Cell phone. this would be gunshot impact. Alright. So that gives us kind of a view of what actually was happening there, or what it looked like after the homicide. Oops. And I'll flip this to where it's also legible there. It's more like, so you have Vernon Street over here, MLK is here, and 60th is here, and this park is here. Alright. We'll zoom in a little bit more. Okay. We have another document here. Rotate. Oh, let's rotate too far. Pretty much another drawing picture of the scene. Alright. You have a document here. Redacted is the blood brother of Spencer. Redacted was with Jackson at the time. Reporting detectives interview her. Redacted agreed to speak with reporting detectives. Redacted that he got a call the night Spencer was killed shortly after the shooting. Not sure what that. Said he was told to get to 60th because CJ was shot. Okay, so these are actual write-ups from people. Redacted said that he went to the scene and saw CPD and crime tape. He ran up to the scene to see who was shot. Upon arrival, I don't know if that's Roland, said he was shot. He was told that CJ was shot. Redacted, he called his redacted and told her she needed to get to the scene because CJ was shot. Learned that night from people that Rayson Shaw that killed his brother. Redacted said on this next document is continued. Redacted said that in the following weeks, he learned that Shaw had fled the area. Roland said that he later learned that Shaw had been killed by police. He was told by several people that the man who had killed his brother was shot by the police. Roland said that Redacted is a friend of CJ and the family. Excuse me. Provided reporting detective with contact info for Mario. Alright, on the next document we have reporting detectives spoke with Redacted via phone on December 19, 2018, and she had agreed to meet in person at her apartment for further interview. Okay, we got pretty much another witness statement there. Okay. Alright, Redacted had been by the house prior to the murder, was cordial with Spencer, but they were no longer a couple. Okay, so this is the baby mother's statement there. Alright. Says, spoke with Redacted about her son's case. Redacted said that they had always been told and always heard that Rayson Shaw was the person who shot and killed her son. Jackson says she cannot provide the name of the people who told her this, but that she had always heard it was Shaw. Jackson says she heard Shaw did it and that he was something out of the city to hide out during the investigation. Jackson was at home when CJ was shot. She was called by her something Robert Rowland, who told her go to the scene. Phone 1 will view array on December 2nd, 2018. Stated Robert Rowland is her nephew. Robert Rowland, her nephew, is a brother to victim Carl Spencer. At work. We have CJ sees Vance and his friends Tutu, Lil B start running at him, and CJ turns to run. CJ runs northbound on Vermont, chased by Lil B and Tutu. Lil B starts shooting first, then Tutu, CJ reach the corner. Vance running behind all three. CJ fell down as they got around the corner, as they got around to come at 60th, and Lil B and Tutu run up on him. They stood right up on him, and Lil B just shot him. then Tutu almost standing over him. CJ didn't something no more after they shot him. Didn't move. Okay. CJ didn't move no more after they shot him from what Vance could see. He saw both Tutu and Lil B run eastbound on 60th Street. Vance ran back southbound and went home. Heard from Tutu and Lil B later that night. They were leaving town. Leave that they thought they saw because thought people saw them because of the time of day. Cook County Jail. All right, we have a redaction. Wants to talk about the murder of CJ. Knows he has some actual name of Carl Spencer. Vance was/is Jarrow City. CJ was BD from 600. Brick City calls that whole area Squirt Town. Vance at 62nd and Vernon with some of his guys, all Jarrow City, walking towards 61st. Get to 61st and Vernon and see CJ in the middle of the block. Vance grew up with CJ, and Vance said his whole family and are mostly BDs, but now he moved is now Jarrow City. He knows CJ for 10 plus years. He is with Tutu and Lil B. Both are armed because Washington Park belongs to 600, so they have to be careful over there. Tutu, Carlton Archer. Alright, and we have a follow-up document that states a one Keon Vance, October 31st, 2018, Jarrow City, GDs. Makes himself eyewitness. Jalen Strong, Jaja, possibly dead. Carlton Archer, Tutu, Rayson Shaw, Lil B, Vance with all the people walking on 60th. They see BDs from Parkway. Archer and Shaw pulled out guns and started. Redacted. CJ redacted. BD from Parkway redacted. Jarrow City, park on about it, and then just redaction. Alright, we have on October 31st, 2018, reporting detectives interviewed an inmate at Cook County Jail named Vance Keon. Vance related that he had info regarding a couple of murders that he would like to share, or just says he would to share with reporting detectives. Vance told reporting detective about the following murders. Vance related that while walking eastbound down 60th Street from King Drive with Shaw, Rayshawn, aka Lil B, Jalen Strong, Jaja, and Carlton Archer, aka Tutu, it was there they encountered an individual named CJ, who they believed to be affiliated with the 600 faction of the BDs. Vance related that Tutu and Lil B both ran towards CJ, firing handguns and striking and killing him. Vance relates that he was down the block as an eyewitness when Ronnie Stewart, aka Trell, shot Sherrod and K.N.A. Sherrod Liggins. Vance relates that there is a wooden gate and that Trell shot Sherrod through a gap in the gate. Interview Rhymes. On November 1st, 2018, reporting detective was approached by Cook County investigator Phillips regarding an inmate he had interviewed named Rhymes Darrell. Investigator Phillips related that Rhymes was willing to talk to reporting detectives concerning the ongoing conflict between Jarrow City GDs and O-Block GDs. On November 5th, 2018, at 1600 hours, reporting detectives met with Rhymes Darrell at the Cook County Jail. Rhymes is a self-admitted member of the Jarrow City GDs. Rhymes related that he has info on the following murders. Related, he was told later in the evening by Lil B, aka Sean Rayson, and by Tutu, aka Archer Carlton, that they shot and killed CJ from the 600 BDs. Related that he witnessed the murder of Platoon, K.N.A., Riley Edward. States that Lil B, aka Rayson Shaw, entered Parkway Gardens through the rear and walked through towards King Drive, where he approached the victims and began shooting. Rhymes redacted. And that takes us to the end of this document. Man, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys like this, man, and definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and thumb up the video. Thanks. Peace.